Have you ever sat quietly watching the wreckage they left behind, and suddenly realized the ground is shifting beneath their feet? It is the most surreal, silent realization. You spent years wondering if justice would ever find them, and today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the exact moment the narcissist stops acting and starts genuinely, profoundly fearing the collapse of their world. We have all seen the mask they wear, the carefully constructed persona designed to charm, manipulate, and ultimately control everyone in their orbit. But what happens when the mask cracks so badly it cannot be glued back together? That is the question we are exploring right now. You are about to see that their biggest fear isn't you leaving. It is the truth finally catching up to their fragile reality. Think back to the times they were untouchable, strutting through life like the rules of gravity simply didn't apply to them. They thrived on your confusion and fed on your doubt. But watch closely now. The energy in the room has shifted. The narcissist who once commanded every interaction is now scrambling, looking over their shoulder, realizing the audience is finally losing interest. You might think this is just a lucky coincidence, but it is actually the inevitable physics of a life built on sand. When the foundation is hollow, the structure eventually has to give way. It is a slow, agonizing process for them, and honestly, it is something you need to witness to truly understand that you never actually had to fight them, you just had to wait for them to lose themselves. This feeling you have, this lingering sense that something is finally breaking apart, it isn't just wishful thinking. It is intuition. You have been trained to ignore your gut for years, but today, we are going to honor that feeling. We are going to break down why their current state of terror is not just karma, but the natural, logical end to the game they have been playing with your life. Imagine a house of cards in a windstorm. That is the narcissist's internal world right now. They are terrified because, for the first time, they cannot gaslight the circumstances surrounding them. They cannot project their shame onto you anymore because the world is beginning to see the cracks. This is the moment where their reality finally collides with the truth, and there is nowhere left to hide. I know it sounds almost impossible. You have spent so much time being the one who felt small, the one who felt confused, the one who wondered if you were the problem. But look at where we are now. You are standing in your truth, and they are standing in their panic. It is a reversal of power that is as quiet as it is total. And it is happening right in front of your eyes if you look. Why does this matter to you? Because for the longest time, you internalized their chaos as your failure. When things went wrong, you felt the weight of it. Now you have the chance to set that burden down. Watching them face the consequences of their own actions isn't about cruelty, it is about finally seeing the reality of the situation clearly. You are finally, truly, waking up to the truth. We are going to look at the psychological mechanics behind this collapse. We aren't here to revel in their pain, but to analyze the architecture of their downfall so you can find your own closure. This is about reclaiming your peace. You deserve to understand why the person who once made you feel like you were nothing is now struggling to keep their own crumbling life from falling apart completely. Take a deep breath. You are safe here. We are going to dismantle the fear they instilled in you by stripping away the mystery surrounding their behavior. By the end of this, you will understand exactly why the narcissist is trembling. You will see that their life isn't just changing, it is transforming into the mirror of their own choices. Let us step into the truth together, right now. To understand why they are terrified, we have to look at the fuel they crave most: supply. Narcissists are essentially emotional vampires who require constant validation to stay functional. When that supply dries up, or when the people around them start waking up, they do not just feel sad. They feel non-existent. Their entire identity is external, and without it, they are terrified of the void. Think about the narcissist's internal life as a dark, empty room. They spend every waking moment trying to decorate that room with your energy, your praise, and your attention. When you withdraw that support, or when their reputation finally takes a hit, the decorations fall off the wall. They are left alone with themselves, and that is a version of reality they absolutely cannot endure. This is why their reaction to karma looks like desperation. It isn't just about losing a job, a friend, or a partner. It is about the loss of the illusion that they are special. For a narcissist, being seen as flawed or average is a death sentence to their ego. When the world starts to see them clearly, the panic sets in because they have no true self to fall back on for comfort. They live in a permanent state of projection. They spend their lives accusing others of the things they are guilty of doing themselves. But now, the mirror is being held up. They can no longer point the finger effectively because the evidence of their behavior is mounting. The psychological strain of keeping up a lie while the walls are closing in creates a state of chronic, raw anxiety. Most people think narcissists are confident. They aren't. They are performative. Confidence comes from within, but their confidence is actually a fragile shield. When that shield is compromised, they don't know how to act like a functional human being. They revert to anger, blame shifting, and frantic attempts to control the narrative, which only makes the inevitable collapse even more obvious. Have you noticed how they suddenly seem to be rewriting history? That is a classic defense mechanism. They are terrified of the truth, so they manufacture a new version of events to protect their fragile ego. But here is the thing. They cannot rewrite reality itself. The facts exist independently of their lies. That is the ultimate source of their terror, the undeniable existence of truth. They also operate on a transactional view of human beings. To them, you are just an object to be used, not a person to be respected. When they run out of people to use, they find themselves in an echo chamber of their own making. It is a lonely, cold place. They are terrified because they are finally realizing that no one is coming to save them, because they never built real, authentic connections. Their fear is also rooted in the loss of control. A narcissist without control is like a fish out of water. They need to dominate the environment to feel safe. When life throws something at them that they cannot manipulate, a legal issue, a public exposure, a financial loss, they freeze. They have no resilience because they never developed any internal strength. They are children in adult bodies. It is important to realize that their suffering is self-inflicted. They had every opportunity to grow, to heal, and to treat people with kindness. They chose the path of least resistance, manipulation and deceit. Now, the natural consequences of those choices are converging. It is like a storm gathering on the horizon. They know it is coming, and they have no way to stop the inevitable rain from falling. When you watch them crumble, remember, this is not something you did to them. They built this life. They laid the bricks of their own prison, one lie at a time. The fear they are experiencing is the price of admission for the life they chose to lead. They are not victims of circumstance. They are the architects of their own downfall. Seeing this changes everything for your recovery. Then, something shifts. It is the moment they realize the game is up. You can see it in their eyes, that flicker of genuine, primal fear. It happens when their usual tactics stop working, when the people they manipulated finally say, no, or when they are forced to stand in a room where they are no longer the most important person. The realization is a cold, hard slap to their ego. It often starts with a small, seemingly insignificant event. A rumor they started gets debunked. A partner they relied on walks away without a fight. A situation they tried to control spins out of reach. Suddenly, they are not the protagonist anymore. They are just a person who made bad choices, and the world is finally looking at them through a clear lens, without the filter of their charisma. Watch how they react to this. It isn't with introspection or change. It is with a frantic, desperate doubling down. They will try to lie louder. They will try to manipulate more aggressively. They will lash out at anyone who dares to see through them. But each attempt to regain control only accelerates their downfall. They are digging a deeper hole, trying to escape the reality of their own reflection. This is the stage where they begin to unravel in public. The mask slips, and underneath, there is just a scared, angry, and empty shell. People start to distance themselves, not out of malice, but because the toxicity has become too loud to ignore. The narcissist, sensing the exodus, turns on everyone. They blame the world for their misfortune, never once acknowledging their role in the disaster. You might feel a strange mix of emotions here. Relief, perhaps, but also a lingering sadness for the person they could have been. It is okay to feel that. It proves your humanity. But do not let that empathy blind you to the reality of their actions. They are terrified not because they have hurt you, but because their own comfort is being threatened. The motive remains self-centered. The power dynamic shifts permanently during this time. For years, you were walking on eggshells, afraid of their explosive reactions. Now, the tables are turned. They are the ones walking on eggshells, constantly worried about who knows what, who is talking to whom, and what the next truth might be. They are prisoners of their own secrets, living in a constant state of hypervigilance. Think about the irony. They spent so much energy trying to make you feel like you were crazy, like you were the one losing your grip. Now, you are the one who is calm, grounded, and observant, while they are the ones losing control of their own narrative. It is a powerful form of justice, watching the truth reclaim the space that they stole from you. You didn't even have to lift a finger. Sometimes, the turning point is silent. It is the moment they walk into a room and realize they no longer command the room's energy. People ignore them. Conversations stop when they enter, or continue as if they are invisible. That indifference is the ultimate weapon against a narcissist. To them, being disliked is preferable to being ignored. Being ignored is the ultimate death of their ego. Their desperation makes them predictable. You start to see the patterns clearly, the sudden pivots, the fake apologies, the attempts at sabotage. Because you understand the psychology, their moves are transparent. You are no longer the prey, you are the observer. This transition is critical. It marks the shift from being a victim of their tactics to being a survivor who is no longer affected by them. And then, the realization hits you. They are not the powerful, dangerous monsters they claimed to be. They are just damaged people desperately afraid of being exposed. The fear you felt for them is replaced by a profound sense of clarity. You see them for what they are, small, limited, and deeply unhappy. The spell is finally broken, and you are free to walk away without looking back. Now we are in the aftermath. The chaos they sowed is finally blooming, and they are the only ones left to harvest the bitter fruit. They are facing the consequences of bridges burned, trust broken, and lives damaged. It is not pretty, but it is necessary. This is the part of the story where the truth settles in, and the reality of their isolation becomes impossible to deny or escape. What does their life look like now? It looks like a graveyard of relationships. They look around and find that the people who were once loyal to them are gone. They have alienated everyone who offered genuine love or support. They are surrounded by nothing but the echoes of their own voice, and they are terrified. They finally realize that their life is just as empty as their character. You might hear stories about them. You might see the fallout on social media, or through mutual acquaintances. It is tempting to get involved, to comment, or to reach out. Don't let the collapse happen without your interference. They are in the process of learning the lessons they refused to learn earlier. Your silence is the most powerful statement you can make. Let them face their own truth. They are likely trying to blame you for everything. That is their nature. They need a scapegoat to justify their failures. Don't take the bait. Know that your absence in their life is exactly what they need to face the mirror. If you rush in to help, to defend, or to fix, you are only delaying their necessary confrontation with reality. Let them deal with the wreckage they created alone. The terror they feel is the sound of their own past catching up to them. Every lie, every betrayal, every act of manipulation, it has all accumulated into a mountain they now have to climb. They don't have the tools to climb it. They don't have the integrity to face it. So, they sit at the bottom of the mountain, afraid, angry, and completely alone. That is the true weight of their karma. You see, karma isn't some mystical force that punishes people from above. Karma is just the natural result of living a life without conscience. If you treat people like pawns, eventually you will have no one left to play with. If you lie to everyone, eventually no one will believe you. It is simple math. They are just living the results of their own equation, and it is a miserable result. They are likely spiraling, looking for a new target, a new victim, a new source of supply. But they are getting sloppy. The world is getting better at spotting the patterns, and their pool of potential victims is shrinking. This makes them even more dangerous in the short term, but also guarantees their eventual obsolescence. They are running out of runway, and they know it. This is the dark night of their soul, or at least, the closest they can get to one. They are forced to sit in the discomfort of their own choices. There are no distractions left. No new relationships to distract them, no new lies to spin. Just the crushing weight of their own history. It is a terrifying place for a narcissist to be. It is the ultimate confrontation with their own hollowness. It is vital that you remain detached during this time. Do not let their panic become your panic. Do not let their chaos invade your peace. You have worked hard to build a life of truth, integrity, and genuine connection. Their collapse is their business. Your business is your own healing, your own growth, and your own future. Keep your eyes focused on your own path, not theirs. They will never admit defeat. They will go down swinging, blaming everyone else until the very end. That is the tragedy of the narcissist. They are so committed to their lies that they would rather drown than admit they were wrong. It is a sad way to live, and an even sadder way to go. But you are not responsible for their survival. You are only responsible for your own. Look at how far you have come. You were once trapped in their orbit, defined by their moods, and confined by their limitations. Now, you are standing on solid ground, looking back at a storm that you have finally weathered. You are not the same person you were before. You are stronger, wiser, and more compassionate toward yourself. That is the greatest victory. The narcissist's fear is the final piece of the puzzle. It validates that your experience was real, your struggle was justified, and your path to healing was necessary. You didn't just survive, you grew. You learned to set boundaries, to trust your intuition, and to value your own peace. Those are gifts you gave yourself, and no one can ever take them away from you again. You might be wondering, what now? The answer is simple. Keep living your life. The best revenge is not their destruction. It is your happiness. It is the ability to walk through the world with integrity, kindness, and truth. It is the capacity to love deeply and to be loved in return. That is something the narcissist can never, ever understand. That is your true superpower. Remember that you are not defined by the pain they caused. You are defined by how you chose to heal from it. You could have become bitter, angry, or cynical. Instead, you chose to understand, to learn, and to grow. That decision is what makes you different from them. That decision is what ensures you will never be trapped in that kind of cycle ever again. Trust the process of your life. Even when it is hard, even when you feel like you are moving slowly, you are moving forward. You are shedding the layers of trauma they imposed on you, and you are discovering who you really are beneath it all. It is a beautiful, unfolding process. Embrace every part of it, even the difficult parts. They are part of the story of your strength. You have a future that is bright, expansive, and full of possibility. A future that belongs entirely to you. You are not waiting for their approval, their validation, or their recognition anymore. You have recognized yourself. You have validated your own experience. And you have given yourself the permission to be happy, regardless of what they are doing or where they are. If you ever feel the pull to look back, to check on them, or to wonder what they are doing, remind yourself of this. Their story is a tragedy of their own making. Your story is a triumph of your own courage. Don't trade your triumph for a glance at their tragedy. Keep your eyes on the horizon. The view is much better from here, and the air is so much clearer. Thank you for walking this path with me. I hope you feel seen, understood, and empowered. You are not alone in this. There is a whole community of people who have walked this road and found their way to the other side. Reach out, connect, and keep sharing your truth. Your voice is a beacon for others who are still finding their way through the dark. Today, let go of the need to understand them. Instead, focus entirely on understanding yourself. You are the protagonist of your life, not them. You are the hero of your own story, not them. Everything you have been through was just the setup for the person you are becoming today. Take that power, hold on to it, and never let anyone make you feel small again. The narcissist is terrified because they have finally run out of places to hide, but you have finally arrived at the only place that ever mattered, the truth of who you really are.